Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is video number 8 in the series of videos in which we are highlighting 15 mistakes to avoid in a new marriage, targeted at newly married individuals or individuals in the process of starting families of their own. In today's video, we are highlighting two mistakes, which are mistake number 13 and mistake number 14. Without further ado, mistake number 13 to avoid in a new marriage is don't give your spouse the reason to mistrust you. On the other hand, don't find fault or means to mistrust your spouse. As far as trust is concerned, we have highlighted it even before marrying the person. The 10 mistakes we have mentioned, if you have seen that video. If you haven't, please scroll through and find 10 mistakes to avoid while searching for your future spouse, future wife, future husband. Trust is very important. As humans, no one is perfect, but everyone can be trustworthy if they so choose. If you have done your homework before their marriage and came to the conclusion that this is a person I can trust for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as someone I'm going to share my life with, as someone who is going to be the mother to my children or the father to my children, once marriage takes place, you must trust the person. Don't marry a person you cannot trust, but once you have married the person, you must trust them. Trusting them doesn't mean that they have no weakness. Trusting them doesn't mean that they have no blind spots. Trusting them doesn't mean that they have no mistakes. An example of finding fault with your spouse, which surely causes mistrust, is when you decide to go through the phone of your spouse. If you go through the phone of your spouse, then you have trust issue, and definitely mistrust is going to take place. No matter how angelic, no matter how trustworthy, no matter how good your spouse is, if you go through their phone, you will have questions. An answer to one question leads to another question. An explanation to one point leads to another, and argument will start already. So avoid this by all means. You have married someone you can trust. So you must trust the person you have married. Neither you are perfect nor are they perfect. And we complete one another. You complete one another. That is one. The other thing is, just because we are not perfect as humans doesn't mean that we create lies. So the moment your spouse realizes that you tell lies or you make up stories, then that is when he or she will start to lose trust in you. Don't give them that chance. How do we prevent giving someone the chance or the reason to mistrust us when we insist on creating stories? So avoid telling lies and you should be fine as far as this mistake is concerned. In order to achieve this, let's go to mistake number 14. Mistake number 14 to avoid in a new marriage is don't argue for or justify wrongdoings. We just mentioned in the earlier mistake that no one is perfect, but we can be trustworthy if we so choose. So while no one is perfect, why will you want to insist that you are right at all times? While no one is perfect, why will you want to argue for a mistake that is obvious and clear that it was a mistake? So if we insist that we are right at all times, or we want to justify for every mistake, that means we don't make mistake. And since we don't make mistake, that means we become perfect. And as far as humans are concerned, it's only the messengers and prophets of Allah who are perfect. And their perfection is that they are corrected with revelation. When they make mistake, wahyu comes down to correct them. Even as prophets, they make mistakes, but those mistakes are corrected with revelation. So beside them, no human makes no mistakes. So when a mistake is making, let's man up and own it. Own it means we admit the wrongdoing and apologize and move on. As a spouse, as long as you insist on arguing for your wrongdoing or you insist on justifying those wrongdoings, then you will never see your blind spot. And it's going to be difficult for you as husband and wife to help one another. So in mistake number 13, why we don't give the reason for our spouse to mistrust us, we also don't find faults to mistrust them. And in order to achieve that, we have to avoid defending and arguing our wrongdoing. Admit our wrongdoing, apologize when we have to, and then move on. There is no way you will argue for a wrongdoing and justify a mistake without telling lies. And Allah doesn't love people who tells lies. And any relationship in which there is lie telling is doomed and will hardly survive. So as a Muslim, I'm sure in this marriage you are in, you aim for eternity for it in dunya and akhirah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve for you your marriage, and may Allah grant you happiness in your marriage in this dunya and the akhirah. May Allah grant us what it takes to better and purify our dunya for the best interest of our akhirah. Until the next, I leave you in His protection. See you in Jannah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.